everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 454 for Wednesday, June 1st. Are you supposed to say rabbit, rabbit, rabbit? Is that a thing?
What?
Yeah, I have a friend who does that.
Thank you. I have a friend who does that too. That's the only reason I know that.
You guys have
June
weird friends.
1st, 2022. I'm not superstitious. I just like pretending once in a while.
Which one of
My
us
name
is
is
Edward Niedermeyer?
I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. We still have the
Oh.
Eddie Niedermeyer text from yesterday. Let's maybe I
We
should
are
get rid of that.
all Edward Niedermeyer. We're a
Ah.
Gestalt conscious.
Okay.
I'm Negan.
There we go. What drives us? 454. Welcome, folks, to my chaotic mess every week that I try to host, but I don't really do a very good job. And you'd think after 12 years, I'd be a lot better at this. I'm not. My apologies. Thanks for hanging in there. Let's introduce the panel and get this show on the road. Next to me is my friend with the kitty looking out the window,
He's ready for the show.
George
ready?
McKenzie.
Yes, he is ready. I've gotten an affirmative from Odo. He is ready, and I hope you guys are all ready here too.
Thank you so much. Next to her on my screen is my friend from the Mid-Atlantic region, Mr. Kacey Green.
How's it going? I've rearranged.
You have. Wow, look
Yeah,
at
but
Shall we
you
that.
back in frame?
You got 100% less baby.
There's a baby carrier there, and then the baby is off screen.
There's a
It's
baby in the
stunningly-
filing cabinet back
Yeah, I
there.
was just going to say,
Absent of baby.
do you know where your baby is right now?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your child is? Yes, she's over there sleeping on her mother.
Okay, good. Wanted to be sure. There was some discussion about that before the show, and I didn't really clarify it for my own sanity. So, not that that's really an issue, but let's see. Next on my list is the founder of the Tesla Life, the founder and the host of the Tesla Life show, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Let's get going.
Let's get going. My friend in the Pacific Northwest, Mr. OEVA.org, Patrick Connor.
Hello out there in alt vehicle land. Let's have some fun tonight.
Whoa, we are going to have
Full of
fun.
energy today.
And last and not least, he is the founder and owner and main technician, Mr. Do Everything for Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey. That's like a 70-10 imitation.
You have to keep everything really close to the face now. You know, like, voguing is about as demonstrative as you can get.
Paul
Are
was
you-
just feeling especially handsome today.
Did anybody give you any beer today that you're going to share with us?
No, I'm drinking mineral water today.
Wow.
Oh, you're stealing from my shtick.
There you go. I want to start out with acknowledging Bruce Nelson in the chat. Hey, Bruce, thank you. I actually have on my list, call Chris Anthony. So I'm going to reach out to Chris very soon and see if I can't get over to Aptera and nose around, maybe drive one, maybe get some video.
I hear that you live close to them.
I literally pass the Aptera office at least twice a day
Ah,
when I'm at work.
perfect choice.
His building is that close to where I work. So yeah.
And you know where I heard that? I heard that on your show recently when you did a one-on-one with somebody.
I don't know what you're talking about, Patrick, and I resent the implication that I didn't include you in everything. So first thing up, let's talk about that. Last night, Edward Niedermeyer and I did a one-on-one. Great show, talking about his Slate article and previewing just a little bit his New York Times op-ed, which dropped this morning. I enjoyed it a lot. I'll give you the no-brainer disclaimer. If you're a huge Tesla fan and you don't like to hear bad things about Tesla, don't bother. If you want to hear, the other side, shall we say, if you're interested in Tesla, if you're interested in a lot of the controversy swirling around them, check it out. I think it's a really good show. And Ed and I relate to having that moment when Elon disillusioned us. So there you go. Also, I want to point out, do check out the channel. If you don't subscribe, please do. Please hit that bell for notifications. We posted a bunch of new stuff. My Sierra Nevada travelogue, the Sienna review, a whole bunch of new things. And I would love it if you went in there, clicked on some things, looked at them. And if you like it, I'm not even asking you for money. Just share them. Share them on your social media channel, please. I would greatly appreciate that. So that's where I'm going to start. Let's. Oh, all of a sudden I'm looking at emails like, what? Was there something wrong? Let's see. Let's start the show with Kacey Green. Speaking of Chris Anthony and Aptera.
Speaking of Chris Anthony and Aptera, they have announced that they have over 22,000 reservations for their Aptera first vehicle. I don't think it has a name, does it? The original one did.
The Angry Bird, I think. No.
It's a
Flightless.
Egg.
Yeah, so we'll see what becomes of it. They're getting ready for production, and we wish them well.
Yeah.
Disclosure, I've got one on order, and if you use my code, we both get a discount.
Wait.
Oh my God.
It never Kacey on the screen to the Aptera code.
It never ends. The whole like referral code madness. I mean, I'm super interested to see what Aptera is going to do because it's a crazy, wacky vehicle. Now, I know that they also have two other things in development, more, shall we say, mainstream. But I like the idea of where they were going with this because it was in a totally different direction from the original Aptera, the Aptera V2, I guess.
Yeah.
Super hyper efficient, long range, solar panels that charge the onboard batteries. It's an interesting concept, and I can't wait to get in one and maybe drive one and see if it's real because it's still, I don't know. I don't believe it until I get in it and drive it. Is it a real thing?
It just looks like it came out of, say,
Blade Runner.
either
Star Trek,
Destiny
2009.
or Assassin's Creed Futura, something like that.
Literally, Star Trek 2009. It had a cameo. Well, the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
version did.
It's a very cool car. You know what? And if I'm going to be real, like I like to be mean, like I'm mean to Arcimoto, even though I like Arcimoto, I'm mean to them. I just wonder if the American roads and driving fleet is ready for this vehicle. And I think, sadly, the answer is not quite yet.
I just want to say this versus Arcimoto is I can actually see myself in it. I understand the use case. If it rains, I won't get wet.
Oh, the Aptera versus the Arcimoto? Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I don't know. Have they announced a price yet, a retail price?
They did, but apparently it's changing. So
What was that, Kacey? Do you know?
it was like 26,000 for the base, and then
Yeah.
42 if you checked all the boxes,
If you
and
check,
then added some accessories.
and that's where I kind of faceplant with Arcimoto. 20 grand for the basic kind of Arcimoto it's a really cool vehicle, and there's so many uses.
Arcimoto's pricing. No, I'm sorry. I thought you the
Yeah,
Aptera
we were talking
pricing.
about Aptera.
I was
think that's
talking
what
about
he answered.
Aptera, but,
Oh, okay.
but the Arcimoto is like 20 grand. And
Yeah,
for
that's
20
not-
grand,
If Arcimoto was cheaper, I would understand like some of the use cases. I see it working, like pizza delivery and using it around a campus. Okay, but like for 30 grand for the one I saw, I'm like, for me to be hot and wet and have the person riding behind me, no.
yeah. Well, their deliverator is like 25 base. I happen to be involved in a delivery operation. I would love to get these kind of vehicles involved in that because they'd be really good for us. The problem is, again, 25 grand, 100-ish mile range, low hundreds.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we almost need.
this one with 500-mile range and doors, and I can like wear my suit and go in.
Right.
Like I can see this replacing a Honda Civic as a commuter car easily.
Really?
But
Absolutely.
no
With a
one
solar
needs
recharge.
a three-wheeled vehicle with a 500-mile range.
You can read all week.
3 wheels is a pain. So there was a guy, a Brazilian guy who lived in Canada. He built a solar racer that he drove from the Arctic Circle down to Southern California. And when he came through Oregon, I stopped and talked to him, and I got to sit in, and it was really cool. It was The Power of One was the name of his tour. And it was solar powered the whole way. If he ran out of juice somewhere, he'd stop and he'd camp, and the top popped up. He could point it at the sun, and he'd wait until he had enough charge to keep going. So it was a pretty neat thing. But I was asking him what was the biggest problem he's run into. And he said, with 3 wheels, when there's something on the road, you're going to hit it. You can't straddle it. You can't go around it. You're just going to hit it. And that was like, all the problems I thought he'd have. I didn't think it'd be because he had a 3-wheeled vehicle.
So with that one, they are going to have some sort of ADAS, and I'm wondering if maybe the computer can dodge the potholes or whatever for you. Assuming you're not in Michigan or someplace where the roads are just like absolutely just trashed. The other thing is, like you said, you don't see what to do with 500 miles. You can get this thing up to 1,000 miles of range with the self recharge, and it'll solar charge, and you can just run for a month without plugging it in easily.
Yeah, but if
solar
you're
recharge
gonna
thing-
clip every pothole, then you're gonna be pulled over quite a bit replacing tires.
I think a good application for the first 6 months will be people want to advertise, like wrap the thing in their business name and drive it around.
yeah.
Everybody's going to look at it, right?
It'll get attention for sure.
Smart car
Oh,
first
yes.
came out in America. You
And it's big too, so you'd see it.
You got a lot of attention. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Aptera, as wacky as it looks, and I mean that in a good way, to me seems like a more potentially successful kind of vehicle than the Arcimoto. And again, the Arcimoto is strictly a money thing.
Yeah.
It's a cool vehicle, but for what it is, it's a tough sell at the price that they need to get out of it. And that's the hard part about manufacturing things, right? I mean, you've got this great idea, you spend years and years making it, and then it turns out it's not such a good deal, and sad trombone noise,
So Bruce is is an ambassador for Aptera, and he's in the chat. He's listed a couple of useful bits of information there.
He has indeed. You want to?
So he
Screen
pointed
share
out
some of
that
those?
I don't have the screen share button.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, so that's
You can read
okay.
them, Kacey, while Russell does that.
Show on stream. There
we
we
go.
go. Dun dun dun. There's one from Bruce, and let's show this one. Yes.
25.9. Yeah.
26 grand for a 250 mile range. That's not so bad. In fact, that's actually pretty appealing. Let's see. Here you go. A nicely outfitted 400 mile range, getting the mid 30s. Again, not if you don't want the standard Leaf, Bolt, whatever, this is an interesting thing. He did. Oh, where do we go here? There we go. Bruce, I'm not going to argue with you, but I am going to say that I think the point about 3 wheels hitting things is really, really salient.
Yeah, that's why I think that the computer might be able to, like, not really like an auto steer, autopilot, whatever, but like literally like a trim on an airplane. Like it sees with the cameras, it sees why you avoided, and it makes sure that the rear wheel doesn't hit whatever you steered around as you're going through.
Nice, like pick it up all of a sudden.
I don't know that that would add
Reverse wheelie.
That would add like, a lot to the cost of the vehicle, but like literally, if they could just do like a steer-by-wire trim and just make sure that no matter what you do, it doesn't hit that thing you just steered around with the front wheels.
My limited imagination, Kacey, is not allowing me to think that's a practical idea. I respect it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does also have the was it going to be level 2, level 3 when it's finished? If you put it in highway mode, just have it avoid the potholes on its own.
Right.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to learning more about the Aptera. I hope that we can get in and talk to Chris again. He was on the show 2 years ago when it was just a little tiny model that I think Kacey has one.
I do.
When it was just a little tiny 3D printed model, and now it's a real thing, which is wonderful. I don't know that they're going to make it into production and all that. Still a lot of mountains to climb, but nonetheless, there you go. There's the little Aptera, Dayglow green too. I love that color. Who doesn't want a car with wings?
Is that what color you're
Not
going
wings. The color I picked was black.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you for that, Kacey. Let's move to Patrick, who has some news about one of my favorite things on the planet, fossil fuels.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Sarcasm.
so I'm gonna do this a little weird. Have you guys seen the movie Thank You for Smoking? Because there's this one scene in there. So it's about these guys, the merchants of death. This guy's a cigarette lobbyist, and he's trying to explain to his son what he does. And the quick little vignette he gives him is he says, okay, let's say you're trying to sell chocolate ice cream, and I'm going to try to sell vanilla. So you try to persuade people that chocolate's the best. And so his son gives this thing about how chocolate's the best flavor, it's the most popular, everybody loves it, blah, blah, blah. And then his dad says, He wants you to just eat one flavor of ice cream. I think everybody should be able to pick whatever they like best. And then he goes, I've just won the debate. And he's like, his son's like, but what? You never even mentioned vanilla. He says, I don't have to. I just have to win the debate. Okay, so let's put a pin in that idea. And now I'm going to tell you about this story. So this is coming to us from the Register Guard. And it's not loading for me. That's okay. I read it earlier. So Eugene is trying to go fossil fuel free. And you all know me. I want a future free from fossil fuel. So this is right up my alley. And okay, now it's loaded. So this is titled Northwest Natural's Campaign Reeks of Desperation. So Northwest Natural is the local fossil methane provider in a lot of the state of Oregon. And as you might understand, they don't like the idea of being cut out. Well, let me clarify this. What they're trying to do in Eugene is that new buildings will be 100% electric. So any new construction will be required to be electric. So it's not that old buildings are being forced to change, and we have to start moving away from fossil fuels now. If we build new infrastructure for fossil fuels, that's decades where it's going to be burning methane, leaking methane, releasing CO2 into our atmosphere. And so we have to start doing things like this. Well, they're trying to block it. And here's just one little clip from the article. Current efforts in Eugene and dozens of other communities are to build a fossil-free future are grounded in community care, a desire to prevent the worst impacts of climate change and better protect those disproportionately impacted by indoor air pollution from gas appliances by taking practical steps. So how is it that Northwest Natural is trying to prevent this? Well, they're saying these mandates take away your freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where we've heard that before. So it's not. That's a complete lie. If you have a building, if you live in an apartment, you have whatever's in that apartment. You don't get to pick. No, I don't want a gas stove. No, I don't want gas heating. You have to do whatever is in that apartment building. So this just mandates that new apartment buildings will be electric. And so then you have your choice. If you want an older building where you have poor air quality and natural gas, go for it. If you want a new one that's all electric, that's choice. Just to say that they're taking away your choice is just a bogus argument. And as I explained to you in the beginning, they're getting this out of an old playbook. If anytime there's something that they don't like, that's how they're fighting it. This happened in the Bay Area, and they're serviced by Pacific Gas and Electric. So there was no gas company to fight it because the PG&E was like, okay, if you want to use gas, fine, we provide that. If you want to use electric, fine, we provide that. They didn't try resisting it at all. In Southern California, where there are two different utilities, it's being fought, just like it's being fought here in Eugene. And I found that an interesting comparison between those two places. It makes me wonder if the solution isn't for these utilities to be merged somehow in a lot of areas. But let me just give you a little bit more here. There's one thing I wanted to read from this. More than 50% of Eugene's residents are renters and don't have the ability to make their own choice of what should be in the building. If you do want to change, it's expensive. You have to redo wiring and other things, and you can do all that with new construction relatively easy. After the fact, it's very difficult. So here's the last paragraph. Investing in new gas infrastructure is akin to building more lead paint and asbestos factories decades after discovering the disastrous health impacts of those products. Northwest Natural has publicly attempted to sell its products as a transition fuel for decades while working to undermine a just transition behind the scenes. the company claims to be an ally in fighting climate change, yet actively works to sabotage efforts at every turn, including suing to block implementation of Oregon's climate protection program, lobbying against efforts to reduce fossil fuel use at local, state, and federal levels, and adding insult to injury, they're also seeking a 12% rate increase that would allow the company to charge ratepayers more while lobbying against them. So yeah, there you go. I'm glad this is early, because we should end on a happier note. So there's my pissed off note of the day.
So in this place we're renting here, we've got gas, everything, and
Everything?
everything. And so whenever my wife is cooking, the air quality, like I have an air quality meter on this desk, the air quality drops 10% immediately as soon as she turns it on, and we can kind of mitigate it if we turn on the extraction fan and the vent hood, and definitely if you open the door, but then you're letting all the air conditioner out, and it also makes the cookies taste bad because they taste like gas. And you really notice it when when your whole life is EV. You drive EV, you walk out in the fresh air. You've got an electric lawnmower, and then all of a sudden, what's that smell? Oh, it's gas. It's like so. At my place that I own, the kitchen is electric, but the furnace and water heater are gas. And I think what I'll do is I'll end up switching them out for heat pumps all around.
Nice.
The neighborhood's a natural gas neighborhood, so I think I might have to keep service, but doesn't say I have to use it.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing that some of these places are doing. They're trying to mandate that it's required that if you have a new building that it has to have natural gas going to it. And again, it's not
Methane.
natural gas; it's fossil methane. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, the way they describe it is like, oh, I just cut open a lemon, the natural gas came out.
Yeah, it's not from fairies or unicorns.
Yep.
Yeah. Patrick, brilliant way to present that, by the way.
Thank you.
That was really good. That's all I got.
Also, your point about the city that has the combined utility versus the separate utilities. So in my case, the utility is one. So rather than cut me my check back for solar every year, what they do is they just wind back the gas bill with the electric.
Yeah, I think SDG&E plays that game too. Yeah, we'll give you a discount on gas. I don't use gas. Well, we'll give you a discount on gas. Oh, thanks for your solar contribution.
Right.
Oh man.
Yeah, another fine Semper Energy project. Yeah, I mean. I'm not going to go reductive on this. We're just going to go to the next one. Paul, give me some good news about what's going on in Colorado.
Air quality. Here in Colorado, for those of you who've never been here, they can get some smog, particularly in the month of July and August especially. So August has traditionally been a smoggy month in and around the Denver metro area. And the governor signed a bill, I think a week or two ago, that basically said the RTD Transit Agency, which is the big bus and light rail company in the region, they are going to give free rides to everybody for the entire month of August. So to incentivize people, hey, take the bus to work or to run your errands or ride the light rail. And part of it is to get cars off the road to improve the air quality, but to get people to try it out, because it's actually not a bad way to get around sometimes. I can actually get from Boulder to Denver quicker during rush hour on public transit than driving a private car, because they have express buses that take express lanes and hightail it and pass all the traffic. So, and the modern buses have Wi-Fi and they're pleasant and all that. So it's a pilot program for this year and next year, and we'll see what happens. See if it changes ridership and views of transit, because in some cities in America, people think that the only people who are on the public transit are homeless, stinky people. So,
Wait, they're not?
New York City, where everybody from Wall Street executives, actors and actresses, all ride public transit. I've seen famous people on the subway in New York City.
Oh yeah. Samuel L. Jackson got hurt slightly being dragged by a train, and he was like, "People don't believe that we ride," and it's like, "Here's my injuries. I do."
So Germany and other parts of Europe are trying to do something similar right now, where they're trying to incentivize you to use mass transit, because they have a problem right now with getting oil and methane from Russia. So
Yeah.
I'm a big mass transit fan. Frankly, I think in most communities it should be free,
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
I
at least
believe it should be.
a token like, okay, it's a dime a ride or something silly like that.
if they would
That's
do
fine.
that, ridership would skyrocket. And if they would like commit to like, hey, it's going to be this way for 20, 30, 50 years, people would build neighborhoods around it.
Mhm.
They're also building regional transit in Colorado that go along the interstate. So, for example, if you want to go from Denver to Vail, there is a state-operated bus service now that you can take a very nice modern bus with a restroom and Wi-Fi and take it from downtown Denver up to Vail, and again bypass all the craziness. If anybody's ever driven I-70 on a Friday trying to
Ugh.
get out of the city, it is a cluster. And coming back from the mountains on Sunday night, it is also a cluster. So anything to get cars off the road is a good thing.
So, Paul, do the buses have dedicated lanes there?
They have like express lanes in some parts of the state, and then they have the Lexus lanes, so the buses can use those.
What's a Lexus lane for those that don't know?
You pay.
Lexus lane is a variable rate toll road
Right.
that is, if you can afford it, you can drive it, but the rate varies based on supply and demand. So coming
Wow.
back to Denver on Sunday night, it's probably $23. But if you want to get home and save an hour and a half, you can pay the price.
That's
Or you can ride the
wow.
bus.
They actually, the main highway between Boulder and Denver, it's not quite an interstate, but they actually allow buses during rush hour to drive on the shoulder.
Oh, really?
Rather than put more lane, they said, no driving on the shoulder unless you're a bus. And so that becomes the express lane for transit. So that's kind of neat.
When I went
Creative ways to get more cars off the road.
When I went to pick up my Prius from Paul, I flew into Denver, hopped on a nice coach,
Yep.
had a pleasant bus ride to outside of Boulder. No big deal. I don't remember what it was, but it was something stupidly cheap.
Yeah.
And
it's faster than driving because it takes the tow road, which is too expensive for most people to drive, but for a bus it doesn't matter because it's got 40 people on it.
yeah,
And it's free.
The bus passenger doesn't have to pay the toll.
Right, but I mean, they typically don't even charge the bus either, so it's
Right.
even better. Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
And the toll road between Denver and the airport is great. It's fast. But because it's so pricey, I think it's like up to $16 now. So most people don't drive it if they're paying for the toll.
Yeah.
But if their business is paying for it, but the road's never busy because it's expensive, and it's run by a foreign corporation that at least I don't know, some one of these quasi-political private partnership things. But anyway, it's cool to see government agencies trying to incentivize people to take transit, leave the cars at home, and experience new things. Not have to get your car broken into, or park when you get to where you're going.
Technically, that is experiencing a new thing.
For too many people, it's not new.
Yeah. Well, Paul, thank you for that. I appreciate a little brightness, I guess.
Oh, brightness.
Absolutely. And speaking of brightness, Georgia has
Yeah.
some news about charging your EV faster.
Yeah, well, since the average charging time, in some cases, 10 hours, fast charger might be 20 to 40 minutes. And we've already done a story about fisticuffs at the charging point. And which is a bad thing. I'm not laughing at the fact that happens. No, I am. I am laughing that happens, but I'm not laughing at the fights. You guys should have a little decorum happening. But we want to kind of start moving towards faster charging, something more rapid, something that works for the people. Good news, everyone. Science is working on the problem. Semi-bad news. It's at a quantum level right now, but that means we're getting there. We've got to start. We've got the first baby steps. So scientists from the Center for Theoretical Physics of Complex Systems definitely named by scientists, that are within the Institute of Basic Science. They've explored how to get large capacity batteries to charge quicker. Granted, this does not mean that they've really come up with a solution, but they think that with all to all coupling in quantum batteries, uh, that could be a way of increasing the speed of battery charging. They were able to quantify how much charging speed can be achieved in this scheme, and they said that quantum batteries employing global operation can achieve quadratic scaling in charging speed. So that means that at home charging time could be cut from 10 hours to 3 minutes.
Wow.
Now, let's remember one simple thing. If you have ever tried to walk through walls because you are thinking about quantum mechanics, this is still quantum. Please do not try to walk through a wall or charge your battery in 3 minutes. It's not happening right now. So, a high speed charging station, charge time could be cut from 30 minutes to just a few seconds. Now, consequences of what this means, well, it may be that they could find uses in future fusion power plants. But this is all in its infancy. There's a long, long way to go to get to something solid and applicable for modern day commercial practices. But there is work being done on this, and it would be great. It would be great to see something that, even if it doesn't go from 20, 40 minutes for a commercial charger or high speed charger, if we could reduce it to 10 minutes, then maybe our very anxious and time crunched population can understand that you can't go shopping. Just park for 10 minutes, charge your car, and drive away. And the next person gets to use the high speed charger. Less fisticuffs, less fighting, less cussing, because a charged society is a polite society. And that's what I'm looking for. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. And if it just so happens to we create a collapsar somewhere in a laboratory, well, it's science. What are we going to do? We have to try something. What?
Go ahead, Paul. Years of doing the show together. It's like, I know so graphene nanotubes, solid state, all of it, like not to
When
pee
you
in
can
George's
buy it,
pool.
it's real.
Well, yeah, you got to wait until something is real. That's all I'm saying. But as far as I'm concerned, if there's any chance that this results in an accident that I happen to be close to and I turn into Dr. Manhattan, I'm kind of all for it. Literally, all I'm thinking about is I could turn into Iron Man. I could have superpowers at some point. I'm still alive. My chances are pretty good. Go for it. I'm here for science.
If you turn into
if I turned into Dr. Manhattan,
can you please not disintegrate me? Oh shit. Okay.
You really ask a lot.
I said every human in my life. Okay.
All I'm promising if I turn into Dr. Manhattan is there will be no blue dangly bits wandering through your screen. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
I can't promise anything else after that.
Blue dangly bits.
So obviously, if they invent fusion power, then obviously that's huge. But if they just manage to get cars to charge faster, as fast as they say, I'm curious what kind of connection you would need at the high-speed charger, because that's an immense amount of energy that needs to be transferred.
All I know is
really
Apple
quickly.
will create its own non-standard version that will cost 2 times whatever a standardized version will be, because that's the freaking Apple way. But
Also, curious about the cooling.
To me, the thing is, all kidding and jokes aside, shoot for the moon. You may not get there, but you get higher than you would have if you just aimed for the top of a building, and that's the point. So yeah, they're shooting for the moon. They're doing a lot of theoretical shit, but you know what? We created freaking Tang, trying to come up with ways to feed people all the way to out in space. And Tang is still here, and we've gone further than the moon in a lot of cases. We've done a lot more than just take a bunch of transistors,
Hang
shove
on.
some.
Who here has bought Tang in the last 10 years?
Somewhere out there is somebody who is thrilled about Tang
I
and
got-
Not on
bread
this
in a
panel.
can. I have seen
Like,
bread in a can,
sell
and
it,
I
yeah.
don't understand it, much like I don't understand green bean casseroles and crunchy onions and shit on. I don't get you people at all, you cream soup drinking people. What is wrong?
No, but
Walmart
the-
sells Tang.
So the point here, I think,
It
is that,
good.
that things are going to continue to improve, and this is way out there. This is not research we're going to see in practice tomorrow by any means.
No.
But batteries have been getting better about 5 to 7% a year. Now that's a slow march, but it keeps going every year. And so you do that for 10 years, you've got something significantly better. Another 20 years after that, it's incredible. So if we start looking at what things are going to be like in 2030, 2040, 2070, but at some point we're going to have coast to coast electrically powered or intercontinental planes. It's going to happen. It's just a question of when, not if.
Yeah. I mean, hate to turn this back to politics, but let's, depending on how these midterm elections turn out and the makeup of Congress next year and the makeup of state government next year, the infrastructure bill and the building of the charging networks that the Biden administration wants to have happen. Oh yes, a lot of that hinges on the elections this year. That's a critical point. When you look at, say, computers bought today versus what was made 10 years ago, we're not just talking about gradual improvement, we're talking about exponential improvements in computing power. So the thing is, don't count out even theoretical improvements where they're just noticing minute differences and having theories of what could happen on a larger scale. It all seems silly. It all seems a little weird, a little out there, or just too hypothetical to be useful for practical matters. But everything we're doing right now, us doing a show through a digital interface with video, high-speed compressed video, in a lot of cases streaming in very good quality video, is a theory that back in 2000, when I first started editing video, and high-end video was 240 by 380. Okay, 32K.
South Park quality.
Yeah, I mean, it was really low.
It moved, okay? It moved.
Yeah, 20 years ago, this was like, this would be impossible. Multiple feeds all into one on a platform that immediately
time.
could be
With
downloaded.
HD quality.
Quality that could then be uploaded to be run. Everything happening right now was, in some cases, not even a theory. So let's not count it out. I
With
think
thousands of people watching us in real time. Oh wait, no,
Right.
5. Okay, but still,
it would have been analog at that.
emotionally, it's thousands.
You
Allow that.
mentioned that the power increased, but don't forget the efficiency increase. So like this
Right.
Apple that I'm on right now is 80 watts for most of the workloads I give it. My PC that I just built last year is 800 watts for the same workload.
Yeah. My phone
may I
is
offer a-
better than the computer I got through college on. My phone.
it's
Yes.
better than the one that landed on the moon.
Exactly.
Everything's better
was
than
that was 2 hopped up methaddled chipmunks and string that landed people on the moon.
that. And it was hand woven.
That's right. Betsy Ross knitted that shit. So, don't underestimate what we can do in 10 to 15 years. I think this is a great move forward, and I look forward to seeing what happens. Also, please, for the love of God, make sure you're registered to vote, because we really do need that infrastructure of the charging stations, the improvement to the charging stations, so we can have our good old-fashioned hypermiling charging stations for all, that is going to be a huge boost. And having that boost to the economy, having that boost in usership and ridership, especially as we go for the electrification. Remember that, if I remember correctly, DeJoy blocked the electrification of the postal trucks. So,
Yeah.
if you want to have that future, you kind of have to make sure all the components of society move toward that future.
Can I want to offer a contradictory opinion.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Go
you.
for it.
I'm all for all of this progress and all of the promised progress that we're going to get. And I enjoy the progress that, as you very correctly point out, that we've enjoyed in the last just couple of decades, if not throughout our lifetimes. But the thing that worries me about this is this constant obsession with paradigms that may or may not serve us well. And one of the paradigms is, I've got to be able to charge my vehicle as quickly as I can dump gas in it, or it's shit. And it's like, no, not really. You just don't. And I get that. When we changed from going by horse to going by car, lots of things were different, good and bad. Lots of things. And since then, cars, personal automobiles have taken over. I guess what I'm saying is, as we move from fossil fuel powered vehicles to other powered vehicles, they're not good if they behave just like ICE cars. We can change just a little bit. We can adapt our lifestyles. We can adapt things. If it takes 4 hours to charge, we'll figure something out. We always do.
Russell, your problem is not really with the technology. Your problem is with us.
Oh, yes, madam. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Whoa, Kacey. What?
Whoa, Casey's upside
He's in
down.
Australia.
Jesus.
So you bring up a point there, Russell. Like we don't when we have our automobiles run through downtown New York, we don't need a flagger to run out in front of us anymore. We don't put out a fake horse apparatus in the front to not scare the horses. So
Yeah, we were talking about supercharging on the Tesla Life earlier today, and I mentioned that our Model 3's only been supercharged one time. That's it. It normally just charges in the garage. That's not fast charging by any means, but it's sitting there all night. So
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's the difference
I
right
mean,
there.
we've
Is that
got
a number of people don't realize that that the electric car, if you plug it in at night, starts with a full tank every morning.
Yeah.
right, it
And
changes
that,
when you do
that
everything.
need to recharge outside of your home in 98% of the cases doesn't exist, because you're always coming home, you're plugging in, and in the morning you start with another 500 kilometers, 300 miles, you're ready to go again. And everybody in this panel and across North America typically drives less than 40 miles a day.
Yep.
Yes.
So 40 miles with a 300-mile tank is
Couple
quite
days in a
easily
row.
done, and you'll never have to charge outside your home unless you're doing a cross
Road trip.
state or a cross region journey.
well said.
And it's unlikely that the cost of electricity will double in 12 months.
Yeah, there's usually all sorts of warnings before it happens, because you have to go to the public hearings, you have to go to the commission, and then they get it approved, and then it happens next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Patrick,
And
you visited.
if it goes up too much, you can always get solar.
Whether you're on
Yeah.
in the Middle East or the Ukraine is not going to affect the price of the electricity in your state.
Right,
Unlikely,
right.
Right.
a little bit.
Patrick, you visited one station. I visited one station 125 times.
The other thing that the electric vehicle allows us to do, which arguably you can do this with gas, but you can fuel at home. You
Right.
can choose the means by which you power your vehicle, whether it's geothermal or wind or solar, or you're buying electricity off the grid. You can choose that, as opposed to having 50-gallon barrels of gas in the backyard.
Right. And even if you wanted gas, you can get a generator and do it that way. I don't know why you would, but you could. So
in an emergency or something.
Yeah, getting back to what is real choice, electrical power is real choice, because you have all those options.
Right. Like you
Yes.
couldn't do that with natural gas because the Honda Fill is gone, and you can't do it with hydrogen because they want you at their station, and it's not safe.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to make it work. I mean, I think you're right, Russell, in the sense that I personally do not like the mad dash aspect of society. But I'm also going to point out that for a lot of people, the basics of remembering to plug in their phone to charge are very difficult.
You are absolutely right.
And
Yes.
so let's remember that we cannot foolproof a damn thing because fools are the most inventive, energetic creatures in all of any deity's creation. Fools are amazing.
But
So,
if they get an Aptera, they don't have to plug it in. Just
but
park it in the
well,
driveway.
they will park it in the garage and wonder what happened in the morning.
That part.
That's what's going to happen.
You make something foolproof, they make a better fool.
Fools are incredible. So the reason for I think the speed is a level of convenience to assist a fool in not being a pain in the ass for people who aren't fools.
Right.
So that's my thought on that, because I too prefer the slow down approach. I think people need to chill the hell out and plan a little bit better, but fools unfortunately control our world, and that's it.
Oh, and when you're on a road trip, fast charging is really, really nice. I mean, I
Yes.
wouldn't want a level 2 charge on a road trip. That would be laborious.
I don't want to be in a sundown town
Right.
with a low battery.
Yeah.
You're not from
Oh,
around
sorry.
here. You're not from around here, sister.
I was
That's
just
right.
imagining that, like, oh my God.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding. Oh yeah,
I
charge.
hear banjos. Well, let's move on from banjos to another incredible electric vehicle that Georgia's going to tell us about, and I'm going to show the pictures of it. How's that, Georgia?
I like that.
I like that. I'm fine with that. You know what? Now y'all know, if you've watched this any amount of time, I have a passion for weird shit. Shut up. Whether
Understatement.
it's a minibus that's got a cat face on it, or the world's first flying electric taxi boat, the Candela P8 Voyager. Now, of course, it's coming from Venice, but I personally think, now, Georgia, although you are possibly about 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles from the nearest open body of water, don't we all need a flying taxi boat? Of
Yes,
course we
I
do.
agree.
Who knows what could happen? I could be
I'm
driving.
not even the one trolling you, Russell.
Suppose I'm driving past Natomas and there's a flash flood. Well, I hit a button and it's a taxi boat. I can pick up innocent people who are stranded and scoot them to safety, or at least Sacramento. And I think that this is a fabulous idea. And as weird as it is, doggone it, I like it. The P8 Voyager was unveiled in Venice, which frankly is a perfect place, considering how far underwater it's threatening to become at some point. And what do you get? You get the sea-keeping ability of a 100-foot ship in a 28-footer. You can take yourself out of bad weather. You can handle 4 to 5 foot chop and boat wakes of 120 to 150 centimeters. And it adjusts to roll, pitch, and height. What? This sounds amazing. Surely this can handle a California freeway. So, hey, you know you want a flying boat. You were all raised on the Jetsons. You've been sitting around going, my God, it's 2022 and nothing I ride around in flies except for an Airbus. And even then, sometimes not necessarily. I think this is about time. And I'm looking forward to it. Russell, I think you should test drive it and fly it and boat it.
So this one I covered before they got the taxi model. I didn't know that the taxi was on the.
You can take fares. What the hell?
Right. I didn't know the taxi was on the roadmap. So that passenger cabin is really cool. But the regular one, what's really nice about it, aside from being electric, so it's like you can actually have a conversation with the people on the boat with you rather than having to scream at them. With it being a hydrofoil, it picks up out of the water and it leaves a minimal wake. And the balance is controlled like a drone. The system controls itself with microtrips, and it's very fuel efficient versus leaving the
Oh.
whole hull to drag through the water. So
Even better, because it's a hydrofoil and it's very stable.
yeah,
No seasickness.
that part.
So seasickness gone. You can
Yeah.
be on your little boat and you're not going to be doing this.
Yeah.
But and that's
And-
pretty dang cool. So
And if you go through any no wake areas, your wake is like an inch tall at the fastest speed. So you can go zipping through a canal, and everybody's like, "Oh, what happened?"
If you go through no wake zone in a hydrofoil doing 30 knots, you're going to get pulled.
Oh, you'll get pulled over, but you won't have
Thank
left a wake. You'll have left a
Only
2-inch
the
wake.
Yeah.
and by the way, this they say can run 3,000 hours without service. 3,000, which compared to an ICE engine, maintenance intervals of 100 hours. Hello, you're never going to see your boat mechanic again. You're just going to pay him once and maybe come back if he
And
hurts himself or something. I don't know.
And those 3,000 hours are actually even further than you would expect if you're used to boats, because that 100 hours is anytime the thing is running. This
Mm-hmm.
one, if you're stopped, it doesn't idle. So your timer isn't running when you're just out and about just fishing or whatever. I don't know what you do out there.
Oh yeah, Dave Berry had a great essay on boats and boating and how basically you buy it so it can start rotting the minute you buy it, and this is what people do with their money when they just buy a boat and put it out in the driveway so they can stand there and look at the boat because it's falling apart automatically. And
Quick.
yeah,
What are the 2 happiest days for any boat owner?
I have no idea.
The day they buy it and the day they sell it.
All I know is I see boats going past here en route to
Tahoe.
some
American
yeah,
River?
Tahoe and some other
Tahoe,
lakes
sure.
are out there. I don't know. Look, I'm not the person who's ever been to a lake around here. I'm an ocean person, but I've seen them, and sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that's a lot of money for some bit of fiberglass that literally, takes all the gas, and you got all this. That's too much effort. Now this, I could get behind this as a vehicle. So
And Georgia, is this thing real? Has anyone seen it live, or is it an
yes,
artist?
this just launched in Venice. Yes, it has. It is out there.
Is that
There
just
is
fine?
a version that's the ferry in Iceland.
And then the non-ferry, non-taxi has been on sale now for a couple months, and I think just 2 months, but it's real.
So it is present. It is not as theoretical as the quantum battery charger.
But it will be powered by quantum batteries when they exist.
Hopefully,
When they
yeah.
exist.
No,
And it will charge in negative time. You'll just drive by the charger and you'll have a full charge.
It will
you'll
actually
just breathe on it.
It will go back in time. It will be a time machine.
If there's a
Yay,
time-
Doctor Who! Oh, sorry.
Doc Brown, come on.
Jack Brown. But yes, I thought that was a pretty cool vehicle because especially if you are an outdoorsman and you do want to be able to go out onto the ocean, it's going to be great to have an option that isn't an oil leaking, smelly, noisy ice.
You just want to take all the fun out of boating, Georgia.
No, if I did that, then it would just be here's a rowboat.
I got nothing. I look forward to seeing it. Electric boats are cool, and that one's actually gorgeous. Let's go to our final story. The biggest troll of the night, not the person who's presenting it, this story. You don't smile at me.
I thought I was being
see
nice.
I see you, Kacey Green.
I thought I was being nice.
Bring it, my brother, bring it. Uh-oh, did you freeze?
And
Did
he's
I freeze?
frozen.
Oh,
See, you told him to
I
bring
didn't do
it,
it. I
and
didn't
it
do
got
it.
broughtened. It got unbroughtened.
Wow. Maybe I should we'll give Kacey a second before I don't want to spoil his story. Oh, Kacey.
The baby came over and just ripped
Just
that plug
Pull
out.
the cord out. Baby shouldn't chew an Ethernet cable. Oh, bad.
Baby
Very
said,
bad.
"No."
Oh,
gonna
there goes
hang
Kacey.
with it.
Okay, well, he's
We'll give him a
gone.
second to come back.
Should we give him a second?
Yeah, give
Okay.
him a little time.
I did. So back to the boat, though. I did think the boat was beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous. I'm
Doesn't
a
have
little.
whiskers.
I don't. I have to admit, I don't have direct experience, but I question the whole efficacy of the hydrofoil thing for a small boat like that. Like, I don't know that it. I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't think it quite is as magical as Voyager's describing it. But that's just me. I'm a cynical person.
Hey, since we're waiting for Casey, why don't I talk about the Nissan
Mark, I'm
Ariya?
so sorry.
for
Would you
it.
please, Mark,
nice.
save me? Thank you.
The Nissan Ariya, of course, is a SUV that Nissan is releasing for 2023. They expect the vehicle to be in North America by early 2023. But what we found out recently was that the order form has been taken down of both the American and Canadian websites for Nissan.
Uh-oh.
That is because it's wildly popular. The SUV, of course, is the number one wanted vehicle in North America. And they've come out with this form factor that has a new set of batteries that's liquid cooled, that goes 500 kilometers or 300 miles for a certain version. And
it's
they've
not
got
Chatamo.
they've gotten a flood of reservations. Exactly right. It has a CCS plug now. So this has ticked all the boxes that anybody could want.
On one of these,
And they have. Oh, we got some interference.
Sorry, I had to mute him. Yeah.
And they have ticked all the boxes and have a success story on their hands. They just can't make enough of them. So in Japan, where it was first unveiled, I believe they got 4,800 reservations. They fulfilled 1,500 of them. But of course, this has now been released in Europe as well. And now they're trying to push it out for North America for next year. And they've got a supply chain issue like many manufacturers do. I just hope that, things can start to straighten out, because this vehicle is going to be very successful for them if they can get the number of them available to sell. And, I realize the entire automobile industry is in a upside down position at this point. We'll see if the supply chain picks up and they can start to move these out. But I think this is going to be extremely successful for them. And they had a pretty good selection of Leafs that were sold. I think this could easily outdo the Leaf. So we'll have to see if they can get the supply chain fixed and start really mass producing these, or if they decide that maybe they add it to a plant in North America if the orders are something that would support it.
They have the Leaf plant in Tennessee still, right?
Yeah.
They could retool that.
It's impressive, especially since Nissan, like Tesla, is out of credits for EVs in the US, that they still have this backlog of orders.
And it's even a better name than the Toyota similar product.
Aris.
Better than they should have called it like the
B40.
Oh, yeah.
3-4 or something.
Sounds too much like the Zune.
The Zune.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Well, thanks for that, Mark. Yeah, you know what? My only problem with this thing is that it looks like every other new EV. And that's, admittedly, that is a weak ass criticism. Okay. But this sort of SUV shaped EV thing that everybody's making, because that's what everyone wants to buy.
Yeah.
But at least, Russell, liquid cooled batteries, CCS.
Yes.
And with the program.
Yes. Cheers to Nissan for finally, thank God. Yeah, absolutely. And I was a Leaf fan. I like the Leaf, but its technology held it back. Sort of like Honda hybrids. Honda makes great cars, but man, their hybrids were just total shite.
Yeah, and they didn't iterate fast enough. Okay, it's okay if you come out in 2011 and you make mistakes. Fix it in 2012, 2013. No, in 2015, they made a minor chemistry change that then still didn't fix the problem. And yeah, so I mean, I'm glad they're finally doing this. I just wish they would have done it in 2013.
I agree.
And why not? Like, since we're throwing a little criticism around, why would they not update the Leaf to at least make it CCS? Like that'll be the only change in 2023. Just change the plug receptor and how it inputs electricity through it. Like,
Right.
It's remarkable they haven't done that.
Yeah, with this vehicle, they're already signaling that's the way they're going to go. All their future cars will be CCS. So, yeah, just stop making CHAdeMO vehicles, period.
At least
Well,
in the US. I
they've
get
got
in
a
Japan.
warehouse full of CHAdeMO connectors they want to use up first.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine? Like, we've really got to use these damn things.
Let's
Oh
start
my
putting
God.
2 on every vehicle.
You know, and Paul, that's just ridiculous enough to be absolutely true. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
somebody,
Yeah.
we signed a contract. We got to buy 1.5 million of these CHAdeMO plugs. God damn it, we're going to use them. And that shit happens every day. Ugh, frightening. Well, Kacey, welcome back.
Thank you. So whoever tells you that
And-
Macs don't crash is a liar.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
they definitely
definitely true.
They crash.
That's definitely true. It was a good freeze, though. It was a good freeze. Well, now, thank you, Mark, very much for that story. Thank you for not letting me forget your story because I hadn't I? Yes, I had. I will admit it. Totally was going to blow past Mark. Forgot his story. I'm a jerk. So anyway, let's go to Kacey Green, who has the Russell troll of the night. Kacey.
So as I was saying, I thought I was being nice because I know you like motorcycles and AVs. And so
I'm just whining.
Here we have an EV motorcycle, the Energica Experia. It's got 112 mile top speed, 80 horsepower with 85 foot-pounds of torque, 265 miles of range city, and 135 miles of range highway. And it doesn't look bad. A lot of the electric bikes, other than the Zero, tend to look a little funky. The LiveWire doesn't count because the Harley people don't count it. And I thought it was kind of cool.
It's an adventure bike.
Right.
Oh, Jesus. Don't get me started. Okay, so is this where I get started?
Yeah.
Are you guys
Yeah,
waiting for
get
that?
started.
Okay, so number one, adventure bikes are the SUVs of motorcycles right now. Everybody's got to have a goddamn adventure bike. Speaking as someone whose last motorcycle was a BMW FS, an adventure bike, which I love the bike, but the form factor is really limiting, especially in an ice bike. And it works completely against the adventure bike. The whole thing is that it's up high, that it's a tall bike. So number one, if you're not tall, you're going to hate it. I'm 5'8". I didn't like it. With an electric bike, you want all the weight down low, right? So otherwise, it's just an electric bike with luggage, and it's an adventure bike. Yay, luggage. I mean, like, it's really taken us till 2022 to figure out that motorcycles with storage are cool.
Right.
I welcome this bike. I hope it's not $40,000. I suspect it is. That's all I got. Thanks, though. It's cool to see. I no interest in an electric adventure bike.
Really?
No, yeah. I mean, I love my BMW, but not because it was an adventure bike, because it was a BMW and it was so perfect. Oh, God. What a nice bike that was. It was a gas bike, though, so who cares?
Well, what can I say? I mean, maybe it's all the Halo I've been watching, but it looks like Master Chief in a bike. But I don't know. Bikes don't thrill me. It just doesn't feel exciting enough to me to be.
No?
No. It just
Well-
looks like a bike.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's
coulda
just a bike.
You could have given it some pizzazz. I just don't feel the pizzazz.
I'd really like to see people designing electric bikes that don't fall into all the design tropes that gas bikes have.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
And if you're looking for something unique, of course, Nissan's got some extra CHAdeMO plugs they could put on it.
I'm sorry, that was a huge sneeze. We could just festoon it with CHAdeMO plugs at every angle. And you get a necklace of Chatamo plugs with every bike you buy. Casey, thank you for that. I mean, I didn't mean to be mean or anything. Yeah, I did, because I always am.
Well, you can tell I'm not a bike person.
No, I mean, that's right. I mean, that's okay. I get
Came
that.
up with it just for you.
Let's do some shout-outs and go home, kids. Paul Guzik, it looks like it might be getting dark there. I'm going to let you run first.
A little dark.
Yeah.
I want to go home, but for anybody who's in the Front Range region of Colorado, check us out. Boulder Hybrids, boulderhc.com. We fix hybrid and electric cars, and sometimes sell them if we have any for sale.
The saddest, every car lot's the saddest car lot in America now. I drive by the
People
Toyota
that
dealership.
have to buy a car right now. It's,
A coworker just bought a used Toyota track car. They're the Toyota's rental cars. They in their dealership, and they use them
The
for
dealer
all
loaners,
sorts of-
yeah.
Dealer loaners, right? They call them track cars. Anyway, a Corolla, last year's Corolla, 7,000 miles. They were asking, wait for it, $29,000 for a fucking Corolla.
I can
A
beat that.
used, rented, heavily abused Corolla.
I had someone send me a link for a 2009 Prius,
Oh my God.
a Gen 2 Prius. Was lowish mileage, like 75,000 miles. It's $16,000 for a Gen 2 Prius.
13-year-old car.
The world is insane.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah. Folks, do not buy a vehicle right now, okay? Do not. Just
Not
don't.
unless
If you
there's
have
no
to,
other option.
yeah. If you have no other option, I'm
Move
sorry.
to Colorado and take free public transit.
Not a bad idea anytime. Thank you, Paul, for that. Let's move on to Mr. Casey Green. What's going on in your world, Mr. Sunday Show?
Yeah, so we got the Sunday show, and then my daughter and I, and my wife, but my daughter's the only one who was on the mic. We went ahead and we took out the latest software update to the RoboCar, and I've got some stuff coming together on that if she ever lets me edit any of the videos together. And then, like Russell said, on Sundays, pop in and out. We got a little show, and we'll see you there. YouTube.com/Casey Green, KACEYGREEN.
Do watch and subscribe to Casey's channel. Hit the notifications so you know when he's done something new. Patrick Connor, you're up.
Hello. I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. Look at Russell doing his
Like semaphore or something,
YMCA over
I'm
there.
not
That was
sure,
pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah. And I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net. Come check that out. You can find out how much solar saved me in 2021. That's my latest post that's up there.
Always check out Patrick's carswithcords.net site. Lots of good stuff there. Georgie, you look really disturbed by my jazz hands. I apologize.
I might do a post about all the ways you and Ed Niedermeyer were wrong on your last one-on-one.
Oh. Let the trolling begin.
Oh, let the...
If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's interesting. Ed, the thing I like about Ed is he has his facts right, but then the inferences he makes from them are completely pessimistic and wrong. But
He
so
comes to
many
completely different conclusions than us from the same data.
Yes, yeah, but his data is accurate, and there are so many Tesla haters who just make stuff up or misunderstand something and then jump to conclusions from a completely non-factual starting point. So it's I respect that about him, even though he's wrong.
I won't argue with that. Mark Coughlin, tell me what's going on up with you, my friend.
I would like the viewing audience to click that thumbs up button. Give us a thumbs up right now. Press that subscribe if you haven't already. Helps us out. Helps the show. Doesn't cost you a thing. We would really appreciate it. And you get a Doctor Who box from us.
A TARDIS. Yeah. Oh, and hey, if you have a good show title, throw it in the chat. Let's see.
And please help me with the show title, please. I got nothing this week.
And of course, if you want to follow any of the social medias for What Drives Us, just look up What Drives Us on it. We're there. Just click on it. subscribe there, and Twitter through. I'm not even going to say it, Russell. Not going to say it. I'm going to skip right by it.
Thank you.
Have yourself a great evening, everyone. Back to you, Russell.
Thank you for your merciful sign off, Mark. I very much appreciate it. Georgia,
Hey.
you are certainly not, you are last, but you are certainly not least.
Oh, that's always good to know. And you know who's definitely not least? All of you who hung out with us for this hour. So thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Remember, every time you hit like, that tells the YouTube algorithm fairies that this is actually a pretty decent program and not just a bunch of lunatics talking in a room. And that's good for us.
Can
And
be
good for
both.
you because we get to do more. So hit like and subscribe while you're at it. Head on over to the Tesla Life. You know you like Mark. You know he's got his takes. He's busy following the entire thing going on with Tesla, whatever the heck is going on over there. And I'm sure he's going to have some stuff to talk about this upcoming week because there are some things developing. So hit like, hit subscribe, and don't forget to tune in with him. And when you're done, head on over to Kacey's channel because now it's not just Kacey. It's little baby Sprague Kacey Green, Ms. Kacey, coming along, hanging out, being the co-host that she should be, basically showing off cuteness while Kacey talks about the latest of technology going on, all the downloadable stuff that he's done, the new updates for the AI, all of his tests as he runs through things. Hit like, hit subscribe, not just for Kacey, but for little baby Green. That's really the only reason I have her turning it. I'm sorry, Kacey, because I don't have a Tesla, and and my car is dumb as dirt. So
Okay, it doesn't have to be Tesla, but yeah, you do want to be a little bit smart.
I've got a dumb car. I'm the smartest thing behind the wheel, and really, that's not huge. So don't forget, hit like and subscribe, and then Patrick is probably going to start a flame war with Russell. It's going to be epic because it's going to be back and forth sniping and general good-natured shot taking at each other, probably for at least the next 2 months. See what he's up to with at cardswithboards.net. And if they get into fisticuffs, we can all take bets on who wins. It'll be fun. No, Russell, I don't think so. Only if Russell plays dirty. And thank you guys for joining us. Back to you, Russell.
You just murdered me. Okay,
You're a
don't
dirty old
don't-
fossil, Russell.
don't murder me and then give it back to me. Okay.
I'm respecting the wily, underhanded things that senior citizens do. Oh.
Wow.
I'm so
Older
sorry
and
this happened on your last show, Georgia. I'm so sorry.
Aw.
Oh, there's little baby Green.
She says bottle.
Right, that's her favorite word.
Feed me, Seymour. Okay, well, that's it. I want to thank everybody who was on this show tonight. First and foremost, though, I want to thank Michael Mannering for his theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Please buy some music. Do please subscribe to our channel. Check out the videos with Ed that we did yesterday, Ed Niedermeyer, on the Tesla story in Slate and referencing his New York Times op-ed that was published this morning. I think it's a really good show, and love it or hate it, watch it and tell me how bad it was, please. Hey, baby Green, enough. What? I'm getting it from all sides tonight. I want to thank Georgia McKenzie, Mark Coughlin, Paul Guzik, Patrick Connor, Kacey Green, and little baby Green. Do we have to pay baby Green because we heard vocalizations? Is that like a SAG rule or something?
Not yet.
Oh,
You got to cheat them while they're too young to know that there's a lawyer.
there we go. And frankly, nobody gets paid anyway, so they get the same. She'll get the same pay that everybody else gets.
She gets paid in love. We
Don't.
love her.
Thank you so much for sticking with us. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. As always, tune in next week and find out what drives us. Thank you. Good night.
Stay positive.